Alright everybody, we're back on Keeping It Real with Candace. I wanted to talk about Iyanla Fix My Life, the Mitchell brothers. I think this is the part 2 season. So I wanted to continue to address the Iyanla episodes because the Mitchell brothers, again, that I work in the foster care field. And so I just want to bring that up and talk about it. And of course, from my perspective, give me up. It's Sunday. Talk about what children go through when they're left, in the system and how they fall through the cracks and then how they grow up. Because, babies don't stay babies forever. And so they do grow up and they become women and men. And so they have real life issues and real life problems. Iyanla definitely went in on this season, and she's good at confronting and addressing situations. Go pee, baby. She hits it right on the head, and once she hits you with the da-da-da-da, you just like, okay, how do I process this? Because what she said, I want to be angry and upset with her, but dang, she right. And again, I said in my last video, Iyanla is nobody's God. She is not all being, she is not the most high, but she's a vessel to be used to lead people into therapy and counseling or to address issues that they're ready to address. And kind of like when I was going back to the whole Kamaya situation and her family, they just were not ready to address those situations. And it's okay. It's, nobody can be mad. When you're ready, you're ready. And when you're not, you're not. When you're not ready, there's going to be a wall up and you're going to be aggressive. When you are ready, you'll be uncomfortable and have to experience those feelings, but you'll be willing to be a sponge and absorb and say, hey, maybe what I'm doing is not working. Maybe what I think I got together, I don't have together. And you always need a mentor or a reference person in your life that is willing to confront you about your stuff, and not criticize you, but just say, hey, let's look at it by facts. What the situation really is, what your emotions are really about the situation, and then once you process it, how can you overcome the situation? And I like what she stated to the father. You can't just get over something. If people, get over, that's the old school, get over, get over it. You can't just get over something. It's still there. It's the elephant in the room, and everybody still got an attitude with you, and nobody's over it, but everybody got an attitude. So you have to go through it to eventually get to the get over stage. But I would never want to tell somebody to get over something. That's very inconsiderate of somebody's feelings about what they have been through. And the one thing I like what Iyanla says is that's that person's experience. And when somebody is talking to you, you listen. Whether you agree with them or not, that person wants to be heard. And those young men wanted to be heard about the experiences that they went through when their parents were not there. Marcus, the older one, deals with a lot of emotions that a parent would deal with that his father should have dealt with and taken the responsibility of. I have to look out for all of my brothers. And he felt guilty about not looking out for all of his brothers because of the oldest brother who has some mental challenges. And so he more so took on the responsibility because the other one was in jail, the other one got shot, and you have your rest of your brothers. And it's kind of like, well, if our parents aren't here, normally the eldest child takes on that responsibility, and that's normal in every home. That happens, What I love is that I seen all brothers on there, and how Iyanla stated that she wanted to come back and help her community, meaning us, so that we can help our homes. And then she also refers to how that anger doesn't just start from you; it goes all the way back from when we were slaves and sold. And so his father, your mother, his mother weren't there for their children, and so that generational curse keeps going. And so, it has to be confronted at some point in time. And sometimes our parents or grandparents will go to the grave, and you're still angry with them because it's like, mom, dad, like, where were you? Why weren't you there? And that person can't answer the question. So while your parents are alive, your grandparents, family members are alive, if you are able to have a conversation with them about things that have affected you in your life, it would be good to have a mediator or somebody in the middle of it that's not a part of the situation to see at it from an outside view and say, hey, let's talk about this and let's resolve. She did a lot of sessions with them in this episode, and I love it. One part I do love is when the brothers were fighting in the room. And she came upstairs and she was, she came upstairs and she was like, you shut your mouth, you stop that, da 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 da. And she was a real mom. I really love how her motherhood attachment went with these boys, and they received her because they really didn't have it. So to have a mother in the home to be able to say, we're not doing this today, you better stop that, y'all need to stop arguing. Like, she really took on that role, and they listened to her. You know, it was just beautiful seeing it. And afterwards, she had the brothers to talk to each other to say, hey, you hurt my feelings. And it's okay to tell somebody that you hurt your feelings. I'm like, you hurt my feelings when you said what you said. And even he had called his brother, I think he's a bitch or a fag or something like that. And that's not cool. You know, to say that to him, and he's probably been hearing that his whole life growing up, oh, you a fag, you this, you that, and that. It doesn't add on to your siblings saying that to you. So he hurt his feelings as well. So when you angry, you say things that's gonna gut punch the other person, and then when you come from out of it, sometimes you could be so far into saying something to somebody that they like, I don't even wanna be around you no more. But what I liked was she was able to help them to talk with each other, so that way they can both talk about the experience of how they both made each other feel. And they said, well, hey, this is what I really meant, and I apologize. Another thing is, there's nothing wrong in apologizing and taking responsibility for your own words and your actions. That shows growth and maturity. And they apologize to each other. And, you know, I do that with my kids as well. You know, they fighting over little toys and not sharing, and one pushing the other. You know, you sit down, you have conversations with your kids and say, hey, that's your sibling. Or even if it wasn't a sibling, you interacting with other peers your age. That's not how you do that. Okay, so you're angry. Okay, so let's sit down and talk about it. Okay, you talk about your experience, you talk about your experience. And now that we know each other, how we made each other feel, now we need to get the gritty of it and say, you know what, I apologize and I'll do better next time. And so they weren't really raised together, and so once they came back together, it's dysfunctional. So now she's trying to teach them how to function as siblings, even without their parents being around. So I said kudos to Iyanla. She really was the mother duck in this episode, and they were so receptive to that love because they didn't have it from their mother. So to have a woman with wisdom in their life able to help them, man, these Mitchell brothers are gonna do really, really well in life if they are able to take these tools that they learn from this, to me, I call it therapy, and take it into their real life. And the real test is when they go back into real life situations and how they're going to handle everything. The father was confronted. You know, him and Iyanla had a talk about, you know, where were you? And you taking responsibility for not being there for your 7 sons. You left them. You know, so I know that was hard for him to take, but I like what she said. Sometimes you got to be your kid's punching bag. Let them argue, let them beat you up, let them fight you with their words because they're angry. Let them get it all out. Don't try to respond. Just listen. Just listen. Be the punching bag until they get all of it out, all the cries, all the angers, all the emotion out, until they feel free. Go ahead, Samir. Okay, go change. Until they are free. Okay. Until they are free and say, I feel heard. And then after that, you have to try to repair. Not you have to. And people can make their own choices. Are you going to choose to try to repair your relationship with your child afterwards? So from my perspective as a foster care worker, again, you know, a lot of children do fall between the cracks, and a lot of children do bounce from home to home, and they do go to group home to group home, and residential to residential, and foster home to foster home, because a lot of times those behaviors that come in the house, the foster parents can't handle it, you know, and so they're like, oh my God, these behaviors are too much for me. And so they end up saying, hey, can you remove this child out of the home? I can't deal with a child being disrespectful. And it's not that child has an anger towards their foster parent. They don't. They're angry about what they've been through. They're angry because they don't understand why they've been taken out of their home. Excuse me, y'all. And why their family isn't around. why they can't see their siblings. And one thing, you know, which I encourage, and our other foster care workers encourage, is to always keep that bio and family contact between siblings, even if they don't have it with the parents. It's something about the siblings that keeps that bloodline going. So I am all a support within the system, making sure bio visits are set up and children continue to know where each other are. And like they did, which I like Iyanla said, was these boys found each other. They found each other. Even though the foundation was shaky and it was broken, those pieces found themselves clicking back together. And that was so beautiful. She called it a curse and a blessing. It was a curse how everything happened, but in the end, it was a blessing because they found each other. And I know that, you know, as a personal experience, you know, siblings, you know, a lot of my siblings, we have one father, and all of us end up finding each other, and we all, you know, have talked to each other. We keep up with each other, you know, through social media, but we all end up finding each other. What? I got another sister. I got another brother. What? I got more siblings? Well, where they at? I gotta find them. You know, and it's so good. You know, I look at my siblings and my brothers and my sisters, and I'm so proud of them because, you know, I just keep up with their lives through social media, but they are, you know, beautiful in their own right. So blessings to my siblings, to my dad, and all the mothers that have raised all of us, you know, without our real father around, but we love him, you know. But God, you know, will put other appointed people in your life, and that's what I like about the Iyanla episode is God will put other appointed people in your life to help you mature and grow when your parents can't. Because sometimes every parent doesn't have the tools to help you grow. They didn't have it. So how can they give you something that they don't have? So a lot of times we have to see our parents as people and individuals and not just as a parent. And that'll help you deal with the situation a whole lot better. How did they grow up? Were their father and mother around? Did they make wise choices when they were younger? Have you asked your parents those questions for those who are in those situations? You know, so again, my heart goes out to the Mitchell brothers, but there's so much growth and potential in this family that they are going to be great and do great things. As long as they keep that family bond together and support each other, they'll do great. Iyanla definitely had them doing a strategy together where they were supposed to build like some little fort or something like that, and one of the brothers got upset, and she was like, come on back in the room. The daddy tried to do it too. He tried to leave a session. She was like, nope, come on back. But that's what a mother does. That's why the mother is to help me. That when things get tough, because men are so gruff, she reels them back in. Nope. Come on, we're going to confront the situation. Yes, we're talking about feelings. Yes, we're talking about emotions. Reel it back in. Don't walk away. You done already walked away when they were children. Do not walk away again. You cannot walk away from your children again, for them to be abandoned again. And the crazy thing is, all of them have the same experiences. Their stories are so much alike. So you angry with this person that got the same story as you. How many of you been abandoned? How many of you feel guilty? How many of you been anxious, depressed, on medication? And my thing is with these parents, they got such an attitude with the system, but you caused this situation to happen to your kids. And you angry? They wouldn't have been there had you had been there. Even though you may have struggled through it, one thing I love about kids, they love you. Children have a love for their parents, and they look at you in your eyes. They have a sincere love for their parents. And them babies will be with you all the way. They don't care if you're living in a shelter. They don't care if you're living in an apartment, in a car, wherever. Them babies is like, shh, as long as I'm with my mama and my daddy, I'm good to go. Because children have come out with a sincere love for their parents. Even though they struggle with their feelings about their parents, they love mommy and daddy. Mommy, daddy, I love you. You know, that blood always tries to mat itself back together. And so it just feels like, to me, this it's kind of like the spine that's broken, but you're putting every piece back in place and making it straight with this family. Also, the mother, you know, she admitted to being on drugs and addicted to drugs and being out there and not being there for her kids. I mean, she has 7 sons and a daughter. And that daughter, and I'm going to watch the part 3 too, but that daughter, the little bit that they gave, that daughter lived with her mother. And so she had an attitude with mom and with the brothers, and she assumed that mom was spending time with the brothers. And Iyanla was like, baby girl, do you know where your siblings have been? They was in the system. She said maybe 84 to 85, group homes, foster homes. Sweetheart, who you angry with? Are you angry with your mama? Or are you angry with your brothers who didn't do anything to you? Baby girl, your brothers were out there in the world with the wolves. Your mama wasn't there for them. So there's that jealousy that pops up with siblings, or that seeking attention, because you know with children it's kind of like, I want to get mommy and daddy's attention. And especially me, I was a latchkey kid, so I really didn't have the experience of having another sibling in the home. But with my kids, I see it, where it's I gotta get my mama's attention, so let me go over my sister and my brother, because I want the attention from my mama. And I can see that with her, it's kind of like I want the attention from my mom. And why it always gotta be about them. But little did she know, her brothers were going through it. They were violated, misused, abused, out in the streets, left out there to fend for themselves. And from what was stated, and hopefully, I get more from the episode, she had a kind of better life than them, as far as, having shelter and having a consistent bio family member that helped raise her. But what she was stating was, even though I have these things, or have had these things, I still didn't have a relationship with my mother. So I still was abandoned, just like their story still was the same. I was abandoned just like you were. And so these children are not children, again, adults, because I think it's the mindset that makes people look younger. If you're like 15 in your mind, or 9 in your mind, you can tell that person's mindset is still there. I think that's where I'm at. But she felt abandoned too. So just like she was abandoned, her brothers were abandoned. Her parents, we don't know you don't know your parents' story. So, definitely in the episode, I really want to get to know more of the mother's story, and probably her relationship with her mother. Because it's always a backstory to why your mother or father may have been on drugs, because it may have been due to the relationship they had with their parents. You have got to ask questions. And this is what she stated to the father. She said, all I did was ask him a question. I got an answer. But if you don't ask, you will never know. Well, have you talked to your child about how they felt? Well, no, I ain't think to ask. You have to ask. And I'm telling you, when you ask, people are going to open up to you, because they want to feel heard, and not just feel heard, but be understood. And you may not understand their experience, but at least you know what, I haven't been through that, but I'm right here to support you, and I'm with you. And so I can tell this was a growing process for mom and dad, and for the siblings. But to me, this situation looks hopeful. You know what I mean? It looks like there's some sun and some blessings at the end of this rainbow. And this family is going to come out of this with bells, stars, and hopefully, definitely with Marcus, the oldest one, I can see him being somebody, excuse me, y'all, being a mentor. He has a light on the inside of him that tells me that long as he gets away the guilt that he's carrying with him, which should be on his father's load and his mama load. And then he stated that y'all will be better without me. No, that's more devastation, because didn't y'all have a brother that died? Don't y'all have a brother that's already in jail? No. You're not going to burden your family no more and say you don't want to be here. No, you're going to be here today. You're going to be here today, and you're going to be present. Because those uncomfortable feelings, you have to go through them and then come out of it. Go through it, come out. And so Iyanla was just trying to help them to go through the emotions and not to just get over it. You can't just get over stuff that's happened to you, whether you've been molested, abused, verbally, physically, emotionally, mentally. You just can't get over that stuff. You have got to go through it, process it, and then how do you function in life after you've processed those emotions? By real reality tests. You're going to be tested once you leave your therapy session, your counseling session. There's real life out there. Oh, I went to the store and the cash register had an attitude. Okay, that's that cash register attitude. So how you going to handle the lady or the man sitting there talking ass? Can you put your stuff on here so we can ring this up? Because you're going to look at her like this. What kind of day she having today? Why is she talking like that? Okay, so I just left anger management. So let me let me not go off on this lady at the store and say, ma'am, how was your day today? My day was fine. Well, I hope the day gets better for you today. I'm going to put my stuff on the table and you ring it out, you know, and so I'll go on by my business. You know, however you need to process, or just not say nothing to her at all. You're like, no, I ain't about to address this at all, because if I talk to her, I'm going to cuss her out. You know, you just know your triggers and know where you're at, because you're going to be tested when you go out into the public, the community. You're always going to have some type of test. You know, I haven't always passed the test, you know. I am nobody's saint, you know, so I've been tested with a lot of stuff or whatever, but, you know, I always have people in my life that help me process through that. Mentors, my mother, family members, and friends that help me process what I go through, because I have somebody to come and talk to, get it all out, and then say, hey, this is how I'm going to handle you the next time. But for the brothers, you know, they're going to be tested. And so it's how they pass the test. And I hope that they pass the test and do well, you know, and let their story be, again, a blessing to somebody else, that they've been through this. Yes, I was caught in the system. Yes, I was in foster care, group home to group home, residential to residential. But I didn't let that just define me. It's a part of my story. And I'm going to do something with it by helping somebody else, because one of the other brothers had stated that he wanted to be in the helping field. Well, this is your time. Use that to start helping other people. It's more than enough opportunity and time for all of us to be out there helping each other. So I just love hitting on our community, the African American community, and showing men in a vulnerable sight. You don't always have to be hard all the time. It's power in processing your emotions. It's power in saying, yeah, I'm angry. Yeah, I'm upset. I'm about to cry. You have real emotions. You are not a machine. You are a human being, and you're a person. So I love seeing our black brothers like that, vulnerable, but like the breakdown and then built up. Iyanla helped them break the situation down, but then she helped them build themselves back up, because like with Marcus, he has four other males, 4 sons. And he has to be an example to them. So are you going to do exactly what your daddy did to you? Are you going to do exactly what your mama did to you? Are you going to forgive your mother and move on? Are you going to stay angry at your parents forever? Who wants to be angry forever? Who wants to live in depression forever? So I'm looking at the parents. Don't you start blaming the system. I'm talking to them. Now, we know the system can be messed up, and then a lot of kids that are successful. But for them, the caseworker said, the something said. No. Don't be trying to blame everybody. Don't be trying to blame social service and CPS and all that stuff. No, it was you. You left your kids for them to fall into the system. Then once we get to the system, then we blame them and say, hey, come on, y'all. And then you take it to the kids and make sure they take responsibility for their behaviors too. So where everybody is this running goat type of situation. I'm going to blame you. No. You blame yourself. You deal with your own emotions and say, you know what? I messed up. That's what Iyanla was trying to tell them. No. We gonna talk about your social worker, your case worker. No, you talk about you. You messed up. Admit it. Confront it. And then once your children talk to you, listen, let them get it out, and then say, hey, how can I foster this relationship with you right now where we're at? And I'm telling you, as parents, when you show love to your kids, you break them right on down. Because they're going to love you forever. They are going to love you forever. Your kids may be angry with you, they may be upset with you, but your babies love you. And that blood, I'm going to say it again, it always finds a way to mat itself back together, because it's what? The same blood. So yeah, I just want to give just a little commentary on the part 2 with the Mitchell brothers. And when the part 3 comes out, excuse me y'all, it's Sunday. Part 3 comes out, I'm going to look at that episode and I'm going to do commentary on it. And I just want to give from my perspective, because I do work in a part of the field where we do actually help our kids. And a lot of the kids, you know, all of them don't fall through the system. Not every child. It's a lot of successful stories, you know, and some go out into the world, function. Okay, and some go out into the world and function and some don't. But we just pray for them and we want to build them up. So it's all about helping the community. All right, everybody, this is the end of my show, and I'll be back again with Keeping It Real with Candace. All right, bye.